Well, it gets interesting because we live in a society that is an expression of the reptilian brain. This man, Carl Sagan, a cosmologist, very famous, he wrote a book called The Dragons of Eden, in which he was looking at the effect of reptilian genetics on human behavior. And he said you cannot, in effect, understand human behavior without understanding the reptilian aspect of all this. And we come back to what I mentioned earlier. This part of the brain, known as the reptilian brain or the R complex to scientists, is so fundamental to human behavior, as I'll explain in a second. Behind all these pyramids of banking, medicine, religion, business, politics, is the reptilian hive mind. It connects into all these control systems that run our society. And now let's look at the character traits of the reptilian brain. Is this our society or what? This is mainstream science, by the way. From the reptilian brain we get primitive and emotional responses. Cold-blooded behavior, lack of empathy if not balanced out by other parts of the brain, and territoriality. This is mine, get out. A desire to control, an obsession with hierarchical structures of power. Aggression, might is right, winner takes all. And it is dominating our sense of reality and our reaction and responses to events and other people. This is the word that sums up the reptilian brain. Survive, survival. It doesn't think, it hasn't got the ability to think, it reacts. That's why it can react so fast. There are good things about it. When you're driving along in your car and someone walks in front of you, what rams the anchors on immediately without thinking, instantly, is the reptilian brain. But when that starts to impact on other parts of our behavior and our lives, then it becomes a very negative thing indeed. It is the reptilian brain and its fear of not surviving. It's always scanning the environment for threats. Not just physical threats, but threats on other levels of our experience, which I'll explain in a second. And therefore, the targeting of the reptilian brain and the constant triggering of it is what gives us this constant fear, this constant stress, worry that goes on in all areas of our lives. Will I meet the rent at the end of the month? Oh my God, will I lose my job? Oh my God. And the more that we can be put in fear, here we go, the more we operate in the reptilian brain. That's why we're constantly given reasons to fear and to be anxious. Be afraid, be very afraid. The big bag monster's coming as soon as we've invented him. And when he's gone, we'll have another. Terrorism, ah! Global warming, ah! Swine flu, ah! The economy, ah! I don't look like her, ah! I don't look like him, ah! Constant reasons to fear. Locking us into the control system. And it's not just physical survival. It's survival of status, of power, of reputation, superiority, intellectual preeminence. Acquiescence to a hierarchy and authority is another aspect of the reptilian brain. I know my place. And you know, when you put information out that challenges the status quo view of scientists and academics, they react vehemently. Why? Because the reptilian brain's kicked in. Survival of their reputation, survival of their belief system. When you put out information that challenges people's religious beliefs, not you're saying you're wrong and all that stuff, you're just saying here's some information which, if it's true, that can't be right. They vehemently attack you. Why? Because the reptilian brain's kicked in, because the belief system is in danger of not surviving. Fear of money. Money is fundamentally reptilian brain. Two polarities of it. One, fear of not surviving, fear of not having enough to pay the rent, to eat. And on the other hand, you can get so locked into the reptilian brain, and this is what the hybrid bloodlines do, that you equate survival with far more than is necessary to survive. So you get people, especially in these bloodline networks, who have got more money than they could spend in 100 lifetimes, but they get up with the sun every morning to go and earn bloody more. It's an obsession, it's an addiction, and it's connected to the reptilian brain, which fundamentally drives our perception of reality.
Everybody here is connected in some fashion. And our success and our children's success is tied up together. And so I think most Americans feel that way. But what is still true is that there's still kind of a reptilian side of our brain, right? That part of our brain that if somebody looks different or sounds different, that there's a part of us that is cautious. And what we have to do is fight against that, and that's part of what Shirley Sherrod was trying to say in the speech. If you actually read the whole speech, she was acknowledging, I have my own biases based on my experiences, but if I am able to look inward and reflect, then I can get beyond my biases. And that's an exercise that all of us have to undergo day in, day out, and it's a constant struggle, and it's something that there's nobody in America who doesn't have to at some point think about their own racial attitudes.
Can I ask
but if
you
we
about
do,
that?
then I think there's no reason we can't overcome it. What is still true is that there's still kind of a reptilian side of our brain.
Como todos os órgãos, o cérebro desenvolveu-se aumentando em milhões de anos em complexidade e conteúdo de informação. Sua estrutura reflete todos os estágios pelos quais ele passou. O cérebro desenvolveu-se de dentro para fora. Dentro dele está o passado mais antigo, o chamado tronco cerebral. Ele conduz as funções biológicas básicas, incluindo os ritmos da vida, como batimento cardíaco e respiração. As funções cerebrais do cérebro desenvolveram-se em 3 estágios sucessivos, de acordo com uma percepção provocante do biólogo americano Paul MacLean. Cobrindo o tronco cerebral está o chamado complexo R. O R é de réptil. É o lugar da agressão, do ritual, da territorialidade e das hierarquias sociais. Ele desenvolveu-se há centenas de milhões de anos em nossos ancestrais répteis. Então, lá no fundo do nosso cérebro, algo é bem parecido com o cérebro de um crocodilo. Em volta do complexo R está o sistema límbico, ou cérebro mamífero. Ele desenvolveu-se há dezenas de milhões de anos em ancestrais que eram mamíferos, sim, mas não ainda primatas como os macacos pequenos e grandes. Ele é a principal fonte de nossos humores e emoções, de nossa preocupação, do cuidado com os jovens. Então, finalmente, na parte exterior, vivendo em um tipo de paz desconfortável com os cérebros mais primitivos abaixo, está o córtex cerebral, desenvolvido há milhões e milhões de anos em ancestrais que eram primatas.